I'm ready to rock, guys. I'm like, her voice is amazing. Saw the music video. Yeah, I do really love those leggings. I'm keep saying like, this looks great. A drum beat definitely feels more powerful in the live version. This is what the song is about, right? Someone is struggling, someone needs self-help, but end of the day, right, it is much better if you yourself can come out from the issue, right? If you yourself can overcome the struggle, like learn to swim, is a much better way than just, you know, someone helping you out of the water, right? It's much better if you learn how to actually get out of the water. And the song to me, okay, here we go, guys. Choke, but live instead. I'm doing the Pepsi one, right? This is what more people requested. There also another one as well. So it's the first time I'm watching live. The warning then. Like her leggings or pants, whatever you call it. Yeah, what do you call it? But I like it, like the kind of the ribbon fitting them. Here we go. Also the hard with how high this house would be. Okay, go again. Okay, here we go, guys. My first reaction. So on to the warning doing a live. I picked the Pepsi one then. Some people recommend another one, but this is the first. I think this was the most highly requested one, so we go for this one first then. And I do love her leggings there, or pants, whatever you call it. Yeah, with like the ribbon thing, that's nice. Okay, here we go. I'm ready to rock, guys. I'm like, her voice is amazing. Saw the music video. Yeah, I do really love those leggings. I'm keep saying like, this looks great. No, yeah, let me go. It feels immediately differently now. I also know the lyrics. Never get into it. Listen to it a few times by now. A drum beat definitely feels more powerful in the live version than in the music video. Absolutely. I do miss the Kiss S on the drums though. No, come on, you know I love Kiss. That's like one, you know, my childhood favorite band right there. I can feel the feel. I mean, this definitely is like the perfect concert song too, because of the powerful voice singing, right? The long, not just how like the lyrics is very like, what do you call it? No, but it's very like vocalized, right? To have the like the yeah, it's very much that, right? It's a perfect like the kind of song where everyone can like sing in a choir, everyone can stand in the concert and be like, yeah, you know, it's a lot of that, yeah. Yeah, the longer drawn out, the vocalized sound of it. Absolutely. Kind of beat right. We're kind of the cheek is up again from the water in the music video. I think so, right? Yeah. I like the lyrics. I like they're ambiguous. I actually think. So I can talk more later, but I'm gonna go over the bit of you guys' comments too, right? I enjoy that discussing some, you know, philosophy and stuff. We'll do later in the next part. Let me go. Okay, definitely more Epilist attack though in the in the last stage. Okay, so let's bring it down, and I want to go in also a little bit with comments talking about the choke itself, like the song and so on, from the last video I did yesterday. Her voice, of course, just like in Show, the music video, is immaculate. It is amazing. Let's just do it again a bit here. So let me go and dive in it. And like I said earlier, I really feel this kind of part is why this is a sort of powerful, of course, live performance, right? Because when you have certain kind of songs, it's much easier to sing along as the band singing, right? So I said earlier in the reaction part, right? But you have, so I said this earlier during the reaction part, but you clearly have different kind of songs where you have, I call it like vocalized, right? We kind of pull down the A's or the O's or whatever, right? And that's probably also generally, that's in the last video, why I like, like rock ballads or whatnot, right? Because you're getting into that kind of longer pieces, right? And this here clearly works, I think, usually the best, right? As a live team, because yes, you're gonna have this very much, let me, and then you're like, right? And we have all the audience singing at the same time, right? So it really, really works. And yeah, it's clearly, this is probably one of this band's better, live performance, right? Than compared to some of the songs perhaps, right? But I think this is kind of how this song itself works, right? And, for example, I mentioned Meatloaf in my last video. I was a big fan growing up of Meatloaf, right? And just like a side note, I don't think he has a close thing to this band, but because I'm a huge Meatloaf fan, he kind of popped in my head, right? The first thing in my head was like, oh, this is like a kind of Meatloaf feel to it. But anyway, all was great, right? Having the performance being happy. This is something that I actually really enjoyed. If you haven't seen my Band-Maid versus The Warning, that's actually how I got into The Warning. So I never heard about The Warning until last week when I then had this collab, right, with the Band-Maid. And there was just actually what I said in that collab that was really funny, because in one of the scenes in the video, right, they have, like the Warning and Band-Maid, they have like a standoff, they're singing, they're fighting, what I mean? It's kind of like, oh yeah, let's go, who's the best band or whatever. But then there's one of the members, she can't stop laughing. She's like trying to look cool. She's like, no, yeah, let's go, but she can't stop laughing. She's trying to look, like she's starting imposing, but she just thinks it's so funny that she can't stop laughing by herself. And I just felt that was my favorite scene in that collab with Band-Maid and The Warning, because it's just so cute how I was like, okay, she can't break character, like she clearly keeps breaking character. And I bet you too, right, that when you record a kind of video and one of the band members it keeps laughing all the time, you're like, you probably have tried, like 5, 6, maybe 10 times, right? And she just can't stop laughing every time. You're like, I guess we're going with, this is the best one we got. You know what I mean? You're like, this is the best one we have, okay? We tried to record with her. She wouldn't stop smiling and laughing. She was just enjoying it too much, And I was like, yeah, like we couldn't make her stop. She can't be a bad girl. She can't handle it. But yeah, it's a really good performance by down there. And I think from a musical standpoint, this was, in my opinion, probably what I felt was the most different. I said it earlier, but I felt the drumming bit felt the mostly the strongest from the music video. Play it again. Yeah, I felt the drums had a better feel to them than in the... But I think it is partially because you usually, when you have a music performance, right, in a studio recording, you cannot usually cipher out the lyrics more, so let me say what I mean. Now, I wouldn't say I'm an expert on these kind of audio bits, but I did actually bring up my best shadow friend right last video, the guy that I dressed up as with Kiss, that he was Jens Simmons. He actually runs a music recording studio, and I've been there many times. He also has a podcast, but whatever, I digress. I don't want to, really push details here. But I would say that the reason that you usually have the instruments sounding more powerful, or you should call it louder, right, in a live set performance, because in a recording studio you of course have different audio sticks and so forth, right? And what you usually do with scientific gaming and so on is that you very much articulate and pick out the pitch of the sound of the lyrics, right? Yeah, you really bring forth the lyrics more. That kind of lowers the instrument performance, right? Where in an actual performance, where everyone's just playing, their best hearts off, right? You actually would have more of an equal, but a closer ambience to each other. But when you're doing it in a studio, you kind of usually just lower down all the the words, the lyrics or whatnot, right? And you try to pitch it higher. I would say that's the common way to do it. That's probably why here in the live performance, everything is more equalized. The ambience, the back, the noises, everything is sound, right? I love her pants, okay? or leggings, whatever you call it, right? Because I am fabulous, right? No, but seriously, people don't get that, right? I think some people think that you sit here at home and I dress out. And, no, I wear this outfit to work. I'm proud Baccarina fanboy, okay? Freaking best girl, man. Katarina Klaus, of course, called Baccarina. I love her. I always really love, strong female characters. So I'm a big fan of Black Clover, right? With all the great characters, whatever. I digress, and also freaking Maori coming back a few weeks from now. I digress. Yes. My point is that maybe if you're to my channel, I am very, very fabulous. I'm into clothing. I actually had for a long time, but it was a while, when I wanted to actually be like a fashion designer of clothing, right? One reason why I like Bleach too, because I love Titi Kubo's like clothing design. I said so many times he should be a fashion designer. And when I was like a teenager, I loved watching like Top Model and stuff like that, right? So I'm into that, and obviously then, but I do love mostly the whole thing, right? So I love doing video games, and I've been like creative director and so on and so forth. But anyway, no, I really like these pants, okay? I love them, right? Because thing is that usually these kind of pants, right? Women have them on them. They usually just have these holes, right? These kind of holed legging, pants, or whatever dressing. It's very, very common these days, of course. But she has them, and then they have this kind of the frills, right? Or the ribbons, rather, whatever it is. It looks like frills, actually. I think they actually are or she actually putting them on. Maybe she has to tie them on, right? Yeah, this is what I mean. I like them because they aren't just holes. It's interesting. Like it's like a one big hole, right? And then she has to like tie up these little ribbons, right? Like 4 or 5 times on these leggings. See, seriously? I can sit there and just talking about 10 minutes with her pants now. But I think people think it's weird. So I've been talking about the music instead. No, but this is how I am, okay? I really do like a lot of fashion design and clothing and so on. And when I go to work, I always wear my crazy outfits. Like this shirt here, Baccarina, I made it myself, I have like Baccarina, eggplant, bicep, Baccarina, farming lady. Like I made this myself. All the clothing you see me wearing in almost all of my videos, I actually make it myself. Okay, so that's if you didn't know that, but no, it's true. Okay, I design the clothing, take some clothing, and then I go to the printer and But anyway, I digress. That, but I like that. So I really like these pants. Okay, I'm a weird like that. Okay, well, actually, a side note, for example, right, into my channel. For example, I made this myself. This the stick, the graphics on this leverless, right, and I also rewrote the code and I wrote the script for it and all this stuff too, of course. So also, of course, I know that stuff. Anyway, seriously, completely off track now. Okay, I'm sorry, but I don't know why I have to defend this desire talking about this clothing. Okay, let's go a little bit to the comment section then. Last video, because this is one thing I really want to point out that I think is interesting when it comes to the actual lyrics and the video, right? Set the graphics of it. So this then is some of your comments, right? Of course, from my last video, which is about the same song then, Shark, right? So if you haven't seen it, links below. But I think this kind of makes sense because you can see what you guys are saying, right? About, and this is the one I did now then, the Pepsi Center. I did not mention that. But what I think interesting mostly here, because I'm a visual guy, right? A symbolism guy, I like to call myself, is, I think there's a great comment. Let's see here. I'm like gonna put like this person. Tontor, you win the comment section. Jesus, the comment. No, but I think it's a great comment because in my last video, one thing I like with the lyrics and also of course the actual like drowning visuals, right, is it's a little bit hard to kind of exactly define what is happening in the video and what is it about. Like, does the person wants to delete himself? Does she want to drown? Or she's trying to help out, right? And I think Tonto's comment here is great because it's kind of like, yeah, you're drowning, like how do you get out of it? You're isolated, right? It's kind of that solitude feel to it. But at the same time, it's like, I don't just want to be, how to say it, easily helped or whatever, right? Or it's kind of that limbo feel, right? So I think it's a great way to look at it because you kind of get that feeling of like, how to say it, it's like it's up to the listener's interpretation, right? Which I think are usually the best kind of way to do art. You know what I mean? I like, for example, maybe a bad comparison, but I'm a big fan of horror movies, as you might have figured out. I mean, I kind of like the symbolism. So I'm a big fan of like, bad horror movies. I see like every goddamn horror movie. I bet you talk about too much on YouTube, but I like to watch like even the bad ones I kind of like more because they're kind of crazy. Anyway, my point is that in my opinion, I prefer a horror movie doesn't have necessarily that, you know, the bad guy wins, right? I don't like that at all, when it's just like the bad guy who succeeds, right? I kind of like it when it's like, you know, an undefined ending a lot of times. Especially, I think a good horror movie, not all of it, but usually has it when you don't really know, right, if it's like magic or it's a mystery, or if it's like crazy like serial killer. You know what I mean? I really like it when it's like a little bit up to interpretation of, oh, is that magic or not, or was that, you know, some kind of supernatural thing, or it wasn't, right? I really just like it when it's like, it's a supernatural movie and it's just a very cheap twist, right? That's the worst thing, when it's a twist, oh, is that's the reason to do anything like that? That is terrible. Or sometimes the reverse, where it feels like, well, clearly this guy got magic powers, right? It's clearly supernatural, it's like Satan, then it wasn't. Wait, it's supposed to be in real life? Like, come on, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I like it when it's like up to the watcher, right, to interpret if it's a, you know, magic or not, right? And this kind of what I feel with this comment and I feel with this lyrics. It's like, it's a little up to the listener, right? What's actually happening in the song or in the music video. So I like that a lot. There's another thing I thought was interesting too. I thought about called Björntjänst. So lastly, I want to bring up this topic of Björntjänst, okay? Beer favor. Same name, you know, as PewDiePie's son. His name is Björn, right? And as a side note, I actually know PewDiePie because Sweden is like this big. No, but genuinely, I went to school with PewDiePie, so I actually do know his. Like, I do actually know Felix literally, but he's from the same west coast of me in Sweden. But Björn, then, as his son name is the name for Kuma in Japanese, or beer, then, right? Not the drink, but the animal. And in Sweden, this is conceptual idiom then, or idea, right? Conceptual idea, that we talk about Björntjänst. Björntjänst means that you're helping someone, but by doing so, you are not actually helping them, right? Oregon Treat's comment about like, no, this is what the song is about, right? If someone is struggling, someone needs self-help, but end of the day, right, it is much better if you yourself can come out from the issue, right? If you yourself can overcome the struggle, like learn to swim, is a much better way than just, you know, someone helping you out of the water, right? It's much better if you learn how to actually get out of the water. And the song to me is great because it feels like it's hinting to that yeah, this person needs help in the water, potentially better if she learns, you know, to swim by herself, right? Because usually in life, as I say it in Swedish, right, Björntjänst, is that it's too much easier. It's so much easier just to help so immediately. You just throw them this line and you pull them up, right? It's so much easier just doing that instead of just teaching them how to swim, right? So it's kind of like a similar concept to like teach a man to fish, right, instead of giving a fish, right? If you give the person a fish, you know, then they get, you know, you feed them for that day, but you have to give them a fish the next day as well, right? You want to start to teach them how to fish so they can bring out their own food every day, they can produce their own food, right? But generally, I think it's a big issue in life, and I mean it seriously. It's a deep video now, guys, but I think it is a big issue where a lot of people, they always go for the easier route, right? And this goes for both people, right? The person asking for help just wants immediate gratification, just help me now, right? And the person offering the help also just wants to take the easier route and just give them help immediately instead of actually like teaching them how to self-improve or whatever it is, right? And I think, for example, where I work, even though I work at this like intellectual place or whatever, I see it all the time there, right? You know, where I work is a very, very complicated workplace, high IQ, whatever. No, but like all jokes aside, it's a complicated task you have to do, right? So I think it's a very common issue that my coworkers will ask each other or me for help, right? And they just kind of want the answer immediately, you know, right? They just want the answer immediately. But I instead would be that annoying guy. Oh, I'm gonna teach you. Oh, you want help here? Let me give you a graph of physics here. I'm the kind of guy like, oh, give me 3 hours. I will explain to you all this research stuff. And we sit here for like the whole day. But after that, I expect you to never ask me again for help, basically, right? In this topic right there. And I think that is something that, my point is that the worse it gets, right? The more complicated the actual task gets, the more both people usually take the easy way out, right? Because if there is a very, very complicated thing that I have to teach you to actually do it yourself, right? It of course requires me, right? Take a lot of effort for me, even from just a purely like mathematical, whatever, scientific standpoint, right? To teach you the science, it takes a lot of time, right? And for you as well to learn it, right? But if you do that, you will then know that science, you can do it yourself, right? But of course, as the song is more about, it takes even more time with Choke because it's more that interpersonal drama, right? You know, well, I can help you right now. You're angry at like a girlfriend. I can tell her to f off. I can go to you. I can call her. I can do this thing. You know, you have like a bad marriage. I can use, we can do this thing. We can whatever. Yeah, we can do a very easy thing, right? Or we can actually talk about it. We can go into details, and we can try to I'll say humanize situation, right? Try to empathize, try to actually think about it, right? You know, try to like see it from different perspective and actually try to reason about it. As I said last week, guys, I think that's probably, as you might figure out, why I would say great in relationships. But I get it, right? Because I am in a relationship. I'm definitely the kind of person that if my wife is like, this is, Lisa at work is so annoying, I'm just like, why do you feel that? You know what I mean? They explain to me the details, right? Explain to me everything. We will talk about it, But in a lot of cases, the person will say, oh yeah, she's a bitch. Yeah, I agree, she's so annoying. What a bitch, That's usually what people want to hear, right? But I am definitely a guy that's like, yes, let's break it down in details and analyze all the different interactions you've had and see how you can like better the situation, right? How you can go around the situation. I definitely see myself as I absolutely have the self-instinct of understanding that I am somewhat annoying in a situation because I can't turn that like professor mode off. I'm always like, yeah, we're gonna professor this. Yeah, we're gonna professor this. But last to that, it's kind of like, Cape Cod Alice says here, I haven't, I comment back to you later now then, is that, sometimes you have to have someone immediately, and sometimes you have to be much more, okay, I'm gonna be more thoughtful, right? Like I said there, sometimes, if your girlfriend, your wife, or whatever, maybe your boyfriend, but come on, you should go. If she's just complaining about the coworker, maybe you just agree with her, right? Just, yeah, she's up, yeah, you just agree with her. But if she's like, my mom is so annoying in this thing, maybe that's more the time you're like, okay, let's actually discuss why you and your mother has a beef now. Okay, let's try to reason that. That's more the feeling of this is probably actually to navigate in a more diplomatic manner, right? But some other times you probably should be like, hey, here's the fish. So, yeah, I agree with you. But I admit it, I'm bad at that. I always try to just go to the bottom. I'm too analytical. I want to reason. I want to understand it always. Yeah, I admit that. Well, as we prescribe, let me have a great day.